Many thanks, and thank you for joining us once again. My name is Dakbo Arua Joy. Happy New Year, I should say again. It's the second edition of a program this year, 2017. We said, okay, let's do what we continue what we started yesterday, looking at the president's speech, the New Year speech. Yesterday, we took a look at some of the things the president said, at the reassurance from a whole lot, really. But today we thought, let's take a deeper look at the security angle of it, because we have two veterans here. And let me start with Stella Sawyer, a veteran journalist. I thank you very much for joining us.
It's my pleasure. Stella. Thank you.
And also Colonel Tony Yam, retired veteran, war veteran, also security expert for now. Thank you very much for joining us, Colonel.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let me start with you first. Stella, I said ladies first.
Okay.
Let me start with you. Okay, what's your assessment of the president's speech, the one we had on the first of?
Okay, of course. The president actually started by commending the military for a job well done. I think coming from his own background, once a military man, always a military man. I think he's excited and happy that his men were able to, in quotes, win the war against insurgency. And I think for 5-10 minutes, he was actually commending, the dexterity, the fact that they were able to say yes to the promise by his administration that very soon they're going to, Boko Haram will be a thing of the past. And for me, I think he's happy, and it's, willing to let Nigerians know that his administration is ready to protect our lives. And I want to commend him on that. I am happy he also appreciated the effort of the military. But I don't think the war is over. War, I said in quotes, because we're actually not fighting a conventional war. We know our enemies, but they're also enemies within. The insurgents, the terrorists. It's a pain that anytime we keep singing the praises of our military men, that they are winning, they come back to tell us that no, they are still very much alive and willing to keep creating havoc.
So you think we defeat in Sambisa Forest and other places?
The Sambisa thing, I think my own take is the fact that do we actually have to make announcements that we're coming to take over the forest? Remember, Sambisa had been there, and for a long time, the soldiers were complaining that they can't even make a breakthrough into the forest. Suddenly we said, okay, yes, we're ready to go into the forest, bombard and send the terrorists away. And with the clips that we saw on TV, I don't see the terrorists, waiting for them. Of course, I saw the soldiers occupying an empty forest.
Yes.
How they went about it, we're not being told.
They should tell
but
us.
I know, well, because we watch other countries.
Yes.
When they're at war, or they allow video clips of how they're fighting the war, what they're actually doing.
So they should tell us.
The shootouts and
okay.
who, God's. We don't have that now.
Okay, let me go to Colonel. Colonel, yeah, what do you think? Because apparently, according to the Acting Director of Defense Information, Brigadier General Abubakar Abi, he said the war against Boko Haram is over. And she brought another dimension to it, talking about Stella. She said, before they invaded the Sambisa forest, they told us they were going into the forest. Is that why we met the forest empty?
Let me go to the fundamental point. First of all, I commend the president for his decisive leadership, especially in the two areas of Boko Haram and corruption. And also, in his statement, he was very careful in saying that the war is entering another phase, which implies that the war is not being completely won. I think the mistake being made is that some of my younger colleagues are confusing winning battles with winning a war.
So what's the difference?
Now, battles are events, series of events. A war is much more a totality of an action. Now, no doubt, capturing Sambisa is a key event and it's a key battle.
So they've won that one.
They've won that one. But they should not be confused that they've won the war. War, especially the kind of war we are in three dimensions. Conventional forces, which is a war of taking land, capturing land, or recapturing territories. That's one level. Then there is also the other level of what is called unconventional or guerrilla warfare, which is hit and run, bombing, the kind of thing that the Boko Haram in fact started with. So we've gone back to that phase, especially with some of the chaps who would have escaped and are now in our cities.
Yes.
So, like the president said, this is when we need Nigerians to be much more involved in this phase of war. And of course, there's the third phase of the war, which is the psychological operations war, which is the war of the mind. When you are fighting insurgents, it's not like fighting to capture land. You need to be in a process in which the people who have been so indoctrinated are radicalized.
So you capture the ideology back.
Indeed.
Yes.
So we are far from winning to have won the war. I commend the president for, like I said, the job's well done. And also I commend the Minister of Defense because there has been less wrangling in this Minister of Defense, less interference. He's kept to policies, left the operators to do their work. In other words, by the operators, I mean the
soldiers or the commanders.
The theater. And they also brought a new invention, which is we now have a feature of theater commanders, which the gentleman, Lucky Irabo, Major General, has done very well. But I would rather have allowed that the theater commander should speak not too much, because some of the comments they are making will eventually affect their credibility. If, like saying we've won the war, then the next day there was a bomb blast. So it erodes credibility.
Or attack, even attack on even on the soldiers
That is
themselves.
Three things military men rely on is what I call 3 C's: communication, credibility, and capability.
Okay.
Now, they've displayed one capability in conventional, but in the area of communication and credibility, they need to be much more tactful. Right from even including the president.
So when you say communication, they should talk to us. Is that what you mean?
No. What I mean is that they should watch what they say. And they should at times allow the experts to deal with it. For example, at some phase, remember, of course, whatever everybody says, in the last government, there was a phase, they now formed a team, which, is it the guy who was in the orientation became in charge?
America.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, they had a team where everything goes into a center. I think we need that.
Okay.
Now, the military men should not rush and become the spokesmen of government.
Okay.
A government spokesmen are usually civilians. If you look at the Israelis in the Israel war, they're usually civilians. And in fact, in the Israeli case, they make sure it's a lady, so that it's a soft sell and you communicate. At the moment, I think there's too much rush to get the credit. Okay. But I haven't said that they've done a good job.
Okay, good job. Okay, wonderful. Let me go to Stella, because they're saying now another phase of the war is the mop-up now.
Yeah.
They need to mop up because everybody now, I mean, all the militants or all the insurgents are somewhere. Because if they are not in Camp Zero, they should be somewhere. And get to look at it. They found one in Lagos. Well, and they found another one in a local government house.
And the Lake Chad angle should also be what we should be worried about. Where did it disappear to? We're not being shown terrorists, you know, they're not parading those captured. They're not telling us, I don't know if they killed. I'm sure they must have killed a lot of people.
I saw some shots.
But but I mean, some people will also have been captured. But those who escaped, where did they escape to? We really need to know where, so that we can continue the battle. It's not just about, because so many people have been, you know, this issue of people did not just wake up one day to say they want to be terrorists. They must have gone through a lot of, so many things must have been impacted into their brain. We need to let people like that come out of what they must have been indoctrinated with. What exactly have they been told? Why are they fighting their fellow, it's not just about fellow Nigerians, their brothers and sisters. Yeah. Because if you listen to most of them, they're actually Northerners, and maybe those who also have affiliations with the Northern, region. Why are you killing your brothers and sisters? Why are you maiming? Why are you, I mean, they must have been told a lot of things that...
But Stella, some people will argue most of these guys are not even Nigerians.
If they're not Nigerians, they are people who also have been coming into the country. They've had one relationship or the other with Nigerians. So it's, most of them also look, when you're talking about Lake Chad, when you see somebody from that area, you just conclude that they are from, the northern. How do you even differentiate somebody who is a northerner or not?
Okay, we need to go on a short break. When we come back, a lot to be discussed though. Okay. Don't go anywhere. So welcome back. I still have Colonel Tony Yam, retired, and Stella Sawyer in the studio. Let me go to you now, Colonel. So what do you think happened or will happen afterwards now? Because at the takeover of the Sambisa forest, apparently it was later that we discovered even Sambisa forest was a camp meant for the National Guards then in the 80s. Apparently. So what do you think will happen now? Because the Chief of Staff has said, okay, the small arms competition 2017 we hold in that forest. That's the one. Do you think we'll keep up that tempo so as not to even allow insurgents to take over that forest again?
I think it was a good initiative by the Chief of Army Staff, General Brutai, that the place will be taken over for training. We need training grounds, and it can be, I think it can be used for both training ground and agriculture. And in other words, filled with an army unit permanently there, and of course, and rangers, that is forest rangers to there, and we take that over that land. Very key. In saying this also, one must commend the Chief of Army Staff for his hands-on approach in the operation. And of course, his counterpart, the Chief of Air Staff, who gave good coverage, air coverage, for the capture. Now, that having been done, the issue now is the threat itself. In other words, the degrading of the threat in that people have escaped out of Sambisa. That's something that, apart from the army, the clandestine aspects, intelligence by the DSSS, that is the Director of State Security, has to be raised. We need to identify where they escaped to, and do arrest.
It's not worrisome that the reports we're getting is that a present local government chairman is aboard one of them, and he has been arrested also. It's not worrisome.
It's worrisome, but it's usually expected. You see, when you fight in counterinsurgencies, you leave rooms for everything, because by the nature of the war, a chairman could be under blackmail to cooperate, or he could be one of the agents of the Boko Haram. So far, so good. Now, but what is sad is that certain things that gave room to the insurgency should be addressed. One, for example, right now, is that the high state of unemployment is dangerous. We have so many youths. I have relations who have done all they needed to do, go to universities, have no jobs. They've been at home 4 or 5 years. Now, you now have so many unemployed youths.
And I don't mind, they said it's the devil's
That's
wish.
it. So I think the president needs to look at the area of unemployment much more seriously, because it's a security risk.
Okay, all right then. Stella, what do you think? Because the post-conflict repair, do you think it's going to be easy? And even the IDPs, most of them have been returned, are returning back to their base. What do you think should continue from there, or what do you think the government should do? Before
we start thinking of what government should do, I actually wanted to take you up on the fact that Sambisa Forest was actually designed for the National Guard some years back. Does that not sound like something is fishy? How come the terrorists were able to use that particular forest for a long time? It just sounds a note of warning that there are, I want to believe there are more people involved in this terrorism that meets the ordinary eye. And
maybe some of them are
some
part
of them,
the military.
you know, when we talk about ammunitions and the kind of, ammunitions, what they have, it shows that we've really not hit the nail on the head. Who are those sponsoring the terrorists? Who are those providing them ammunitions? Who are those actually behind them?
Because they become monstrous all of a sudden.
All of a sudden. It shows that maybe there are people who are up there that maybe with time
but
God on our side will get...
The former president, Goodluck Jonathan, said he had Boko Haram members in his
cabinet. Well, when he said that, most Nigerians thought he was just, saying things. But I think there's more to that statement. And there's more to the fact that they were able to hold their own in that forest because some people understand the terrain.
Yeah, I heard they have good water supply. They had everything
that is
even underground bunkers.
Definitely. That is what I believe the military should start working on. Who exactly are those behind these people? Because it is when you win the war, when you curb the nib, curb in the nib, those who are sponsoring and those who are aiding and abetting this crime, that's when we can actually come out to say we're not even winning, we're making a headway. That's aside. And what you said, he just said it, there's hunger in the land. People don't have jobs. And when recently the administration is saying, yes, they're creating jobs, they're making, and I begin to ask, is it the companies that are laying down their staff? Is it companies that are closing shop, moving out of Nigeria, to other African states? Are they the ones, people are getting jobs from? Is government actually creating, I don't see companies coming up. So where are these jobs? But is really, it the ministry?
Really,
where we have so many people.
That's a menace on its own. But was that really the cause of what happened? Was that why Mohammed Yusuf took up arms?
Well, it's not. It may not be the reason, but where did he get his recruitment from? It's from Haidu.
From the jobless.
It's from those who I have a job. Nobody will come to ask me to do something when I know I already have something that will bring food to my table. The majority of those who got recruited may be those who are just there with no hope, with people who believe that, why not just join if I'll have, they must have promised them a lot of things.
But when you talk about ideology, you had the Mutalabs of this world. Mutalab was the son
of a rich man, Yes, that's just an aside, one out of many. We're talking about it's not just about those who are also at the hems, of affairs. We're talking about the recruits, those I know what they call them,
the
the foot soldiers. There are people who maybe hungry, who don't have something to do, and if you tell them, we'll give you this, we'll give you that, I think it's just going to be a foolish man who will be asked, to come get something free, and you will not say no because, of morals. People, when you're hungry, there's a limit to
anything.
How you can preach to that person.
Let me go to your Cornell now. Cornell, what do you think? Because they're talking about this post-conflict repairs and everything. How much do we need? And again, can we really repair the northeastern part of the country per se? Talking about Borno and some other places that have been affected by this war, though the IDPs are returning. But what's going to happen afterwards? This is a war-torn area, if you forgot.
True. And it's good that a lot of money has been earmarked. I do hope the money gets down to be spent.
We do really hope, because
yes, because of
have,
and that's why, and like again, credibility is important, and that's why I think the idea of a key government official toying with part of that money, which is the allegations against the Secretary of the Government,
Babacha Lawa,
yes, needs to be addressed.
Yes.
Because for such a key figure to be connected with such, what would I call, moral issue, funds for people who have been displaced, to try to make money from that is the worst thing that can happen. Two things. Now, if we go back to the budget, how do the budget helps in doing things? First, I think the Northeast needs to be dealt with as is being planned, and it should be such that there's transparently money earmarked for those people are really used properly.
So who's going to monitor? Because the people that are meant to monitor, imagine, allegedly, he said the secretary, the person that is meant to, if you get what I mean, is found, his hands are found in the till. So who is going to monitor now?
I think that's a good question. One, we are lucky we have a president who has high integrity. I think one of the presidents we've ever had who is corruption-free. We are also lucky a man who has courage, who is decisive. But what is lacking in his government is that the kitchen cabinet are filled up with people without capacity.
And he cannot do it alone.
Yeah, indeed. They're filled up with people capacity. When the president governed with Idi Agbon provided that thinking backup. General Buhari, or President Buhari, his three key staffs, or I would say two, are very weak. And I have to say this. His chief of staff and his secretary of government. The difference between Nigeria and America is that we have this concept of secretary of government. The whole idea was a midway between the French system, where they have a prime minister and the president, and the American system. The secretary of government is like the prime minister. Now, that position is so key because he is the secretary of the council. When decisions are reached, he ensures that decisions are met. He makes sure that management objective, that is what targets one minister got to. So we need a real good figure for a change.
So we need to reshuffle one way or the other.
We need Olufale type of candidate person to be the secretary of government as it was designed. At the moment, this issue of appointing the likes of the man we have now, who has no capacity and who has not even the political cloud. What is wrong with the likes of, I would have thought people like, just to mention a name, the like of Onu. Ogbonna Onu is amiable, is a man who can reach out to such positions.
For such positions. We need to go on a short break, and when we come back, a lot to be discussed further. Don't go anywhere. So welcome back. I was still taking a look at the president's speech, the New Year's speech. Let me take a paragraph here. It said, our government is aware of some mistakes and wrongdoings in handling the affairs of IDPs. We are taking measures to correct those mistakes and punish the culprits. So let me take it to you. What do you think? Do
I'm happy. When the news broke up, was it two months or last month, concerning how the IDPs were being treated. You know, the issue of rape, the issue of molestation, the issue of even hoarding, you know, food that was meant for them. You know, when it broke up, people were like, is it real? But, you know, from the comments of those who were actually sent to investigate the matter, you realize that it's actually the truth. And it's something that, you know, strike one, you know, really, really badly. Nigerians there waiting for, you know, stipends. You're waiting for something to be dropped in your bowl. And then the little that you're giving them, you're not holding. Then those who are actually, they are traumatized already, then you're adding to their trauma. You know, I begin to wonder, you know, when this issue of being sexually, you know, molested, I ask, where do they even take them to? You know, is it the same camp where you're keeping them?
For
then you know, and you know, it's so painful. I know
Can
we've
I
had.
quickly take our first call and I'll come back to
Okay.
you. Pastor Leonard from Ojo. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Dapo and the guest.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Happy New Year.
Same to you, sir.
Mine is just a question. Now, Sambisa forests have been captured.
Yes.
Where are the remaining Chibok guys? And the two, why is it very difficult for the government to find the sponsor of this Boko Haram? And even the headsmen now, nobody can arrest any of them, nobody. That's my own question.
Okay, wonderful. You have 3 questions in one.
Well, okay, let me take the first one.
Yes.
Concerning where the Chibok is.
Yes.
I think before the release of some, I think there was this rumor, or there's the allegation that some of them have been sold off, some had been married off, some definitely must have been killed, you know, died. It's not everybody that will go through such experience
That
and come
will
out,
come out
you know,
alive.
alive. And we don't want to start sending jitters down the spine of parents, because they're still hopeful that maybe one day their girls will come back. But they should also have it at the back of their mind that it's not everybody that will come back. Though it's painful, but that's the reality. And it's a painful thing. Most of them actually came back, you know, with babies, you know, strapped on their back. And you can imagine, you know, babies coming up, you're not sure who their father is. How are you going to, you know, what kind of life, you know, with those children?
So they should be morally demented.
You know, there's so many things, you know, that has happened.
I have a call
And,
from
you know,
UK. Basil, good morning. Good morning, Basil. Are you there, Basil? Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Dr. Happy New Year to you all.
Same to you.
Same to you.
Thank you very much
I'd
for
like
joining
to
us.
use this opportunity. I would like to use this opportunity. Yes, I would like to use this opportunity to appreciate TVC.
Thank you so much, Basil.
TVC for providing the platform for us to discuss our nation's issues. All the programs that I've had the opportunity to watch on TVC all point to one thing.
So what's the one thing?
We need to build a new country. We need to build a new economy. We need to do away with the old mindset. We need to connect with what is happening in the international scene.
Yes.
All the issues about fighting corruption, fraud, we are not going anywhere. Not until we change laws, we enforce compliance with regulations, and we get people charged to court and imprisoned for their offense to serve as deterrent to others. Until we do this basic thing, we'll just be talking.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much, Basi. You've made your point. Thank you once again. And I'll go to you now, Cornel. What do you think the issue of these Chibok girls, because now we've reached Camp Zero, where could they be?
It's a difficult thing to answer because they could have been, like it was said earlier, since there was imminent that they were going to attack the Sambisa forest. So they may have had contingencies where to move them to. They would have been moved across the borders to some other locations.
But let me ask you a question. What happened to our element of surprise? As a military, I thought we should think ahead of these people. Really, it seems they are thinking ahead of it because they give the Nigerian military much of surprise than we give in there. Because even though the Nigerian military had announced they were going to bomb or they were going to attack Sambisa, I thought they would have waited along the border because they were expect the, if you get what I mean.
No. First of all, Sambisa forest is bigger than some states.
No.
It's a very big land, mass of land. One, that's also, I've argued and said it repeatedly, our military is too small for the size of our population.
So we need more recruitment, right?
We need about a 4-fold increment of our troops, in that the people are overstretched.
So like how many millions do we?
No,
like how many are they now?
Let me give you just to put it in context. A country like Egypt has roughly half of our population,
Yes.
has half of our GDP. Okay, I hope you get those two figures, but has almost 5 times or 6 times what we have in military. You see that?
Yes.
That's one country. Ethiopia has nothing compared to Nigeria, but has almost 8 times what we have. For our population, to take over the Northeast operationally, because the way the military functions is that you have one formation fighting,
yes.
You have 2 backing. So if you have a division fighting, you need 2 other divisions backing, which means what we have now is is negligible.
Sorry, I have been keeping Victory on the line from Yaba. Sorry about that, Victory. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Dapo.
Good morning.
Happy New Year.
Same to you. Been a while.
Same goes to your guest in the studio. I'm happy you have a retired military officer with you in the studio.
Yes.
But let's be sincere with ourselves. Like the previous caller said, a reorientation. See, there was an announcement by the army spokesman over the control of the region. And immediately after, there was another attack by Boko Haram. You understand?
Yes.
As well. A press statement on the social media stampeding authority over the control of the same region. Why a lot of Nigerian army were killed and the injured were taken to Kaduna by the Nigerian Air Force flight jet. So the question is, which of the story do we believe now? You understand? Because we just have to be sincere with ourselves. There are fundamental questions that need to be asked. Where are the remaining Chibok girls? Are the welfare of the military officer at the battlefront really being considered? Honestly, we just need to wake up from our slumber.
All right. Thank you so much,
Victory.
Victory.
Just a man in a speech.
Okay.
He has to act. Thank you. God bless you. And have the presidency.
All right. Thanks a lot. Let me continue. Okay. Let me rephrase the question again. What is wrong with that element of surprise? I talk about the Nigerian, because we've not been able to even infiltrate these people. Maybe they have, and they've not told us.
No, please, we must not underrate what the army has done. We told, what one would argue is that the kind of war we are fighting, you have the military doing their part, you also need the politicians to do their part. Because what do I mean by politicians doing their part? Is that we need to get Nigerians much more involved in the war. Like we discussed earlier before the program, a lot of people are not well informed about what is going on around them, which is again a weakness in government deliverance. And
that's the fault of the government.
That's the fault of government, and this is key. And so, the war against insurgency, it requires everybody. And where you have a crisis going on now, and then you have, like somebody said earlier, the herdsmen, killings going on in southern Kaduna. And I'm happy, and I must praise the Sultan for coming out clearly to condemn. It's very sad that this government, those who should have come out clearly, have not come out. The defense that the governor was on top of it by a spokesman of the president was misleading.
Misleading, okay. I have a Motosho from Yaba. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. And well done.
Thank you very much.
To me, Boko Haram may have been defeated physically on ground because we were made to believe that the last batch of the unconventional army of Boko Haram at Sambisa had been dislodged.
Yes.
That may...
Wow. Okay. Thank you, Motosho. Let me go to you now, because we were talking before, because you know when we went on that break, we were talking about we are not terrorists, we are Nigerians. That's about the only advert I've seen talking about terrorism is bad, we are not terrorists. And there's one I used to see on the national television network also, but I don't really see much of that. Are we doing much talking about
sensitization?
Yes.
I think we're not doing anything. That, well, of course, I don't know the number of such jingles we have on radio, but I think radio, TV, yes, but radio more should have been, because, you know, people from the north, especially those who of us here in the west, you see them, everybody with their radio. If those jingles, you know, keep coming up, it will go a long way to help, you know, to help rejig our psyche. And my worry too is the fact that what exactly is happening to our National Orientation Agency. I want to believe that for now, that agency should be up and doing.
But apparently we have somebody new there.
Well, maybe the person is still learning the ropes. I don't know, but I stopped following, you know, what the agency is doing. But I think maybe it's also a wake-up call to whoever is in charge to come up with plans, to come up with things that need, you know, Nigerian needs to be, we need to have what we have some years back.
Yes.
You know, where we have a Mamsa thing. And, you know, there are so many jingles that came up that, you know, if you wake up a 2 or 3-year-old, you know, they'll keep, you know, singing the different jingles.
Yes.
And it went a long way to help.
So you could do much about that.
We need more of that. Okay. Nigerians need to go through such process where we keep reminding ourselves that we're Nigerians.
And
we're not terrorists. We need to love ourselves. We need to also be security conscious too. I'm happy that the president
in his speech... I need to go on a short break. Can I interrupt you? When I come back, you will continue. Don't go anywhere, please. Okay. Welcome back. I did interrupt Stella to go on that break, but you still give me some few seconds because I have Omotosho on the line from Yaba. Good morning.
The other time.
Morning.
What I'm saying is that the army spokesman informed Nigerians that Boko Haram had been dislodged. That, to a certain extent, it is a true statement. But let us not forget that Boko Haram is a philosophy. You will see from their flag, their emblem, the Quran and AK-47 on the left, AK-47 on the right. They have followers. They have followership cut across the facet of the society. Their philosophy is that the traditional Islam has been bastardized. And they want to bring in a renewal of what the Quran is saying, total interpretation of the Quran.
Okay, wait, Omotosho, are you sure about what? Because I can't remember them having Quran and AK-47. I thought it was just Arabic inscription, that's all.
No.
I'm not sure about that Quran.
And that is why they are telling us that Boko Haram, that book is an Aram. Not an Islamic state.
Okay.
And what I'm saying is that they have followers.
Apparently, Omotosho, the line has gone bad, so I cannot make sense of what you are saying again. Try and call back, okay? Thank you so much. And I will allow you continue. We're talking about the ideology, and that's where you started from.
I think I was about to talk about the president's speech calling on all Nigerians to be to support his administration, security-wise, for us to be vigilant, for us to also be our brother's keeper. I think it's a good stand, but it's not just enough calling on Nigerians to be up and doing, to be security conscious. For some few weeks now, the administration had been coming under attack because the federal government is refusing, if I can use that word, to come out openly to denounce what is happening in Southern Kaduna. You know, Nigerians are worried because they're like, why is the administration, why is federal government not coming out to condemn the actions and, you know, say categorically, this is what we're going to do about the situation? I mean, okay, fine, they're saying the government, I mean, the governor should be the one to handle, you know, but it's not just enough. You're calling on Nigerians because the Boko Haram thing is, we can actually say maybe people from the southeast and southwest can say, well, it's a northern thing.
But it's not.
But no, that is not it. It is those who are even from this region that are, you know, shouting and clamoring for a stop, you know, to what is happening over there. And if anything is happening in Southern Kaduna, it's a Nigerian thing. And a bomb
does not identify
who is who. You know. So I think the federal government should actually talk about.
Okay. You know, Jacob is on the line. Good morning, Jacob.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir. You're calling from Ikeja?
Ikeja. I'm calling from Ikeja, sir.
Okay.
I want to appreciate Madam Stella because of what she is just talking about Southern Kaduna. I am from Southern Kaduna. It is high time President Buhari needs to speak up. Because Buhari will not tell us that he doesn't know the problem of Kaduna State. That is an Islamic game plan, because for them to capture Kaduna, they have captured Nigeria as a whole. Buhari, after 1985, Buhari left as an head of state, and he stays in Kaduna for 35 years. Buhari knows the length and breadth of Kaduna. He knows those who are causing the problem of Kaduna. Then if President Buhari cannot speak, then Buhari is dancing the same tune with Erufai.
Are you sure that the president knows who are?
I am telling you, I am from Southern Kaduna.
Are you sure? That's the question I asked.
My brother, let me tell you one thing. This game is an Islamic game. Because they know Kaduna is a Christian state. They are hunting for Kaduna and Plateau State, which is just.
Okay.
For them capturing Kaduna and Plateau State, because Kaduna is the heart of the north. You understand? For them capturing Kaduna, they have captured Nigeria. This is the high time the Christians in Nigeria need to stand up and fight for this battle. This is not the battle of Kaduna State. It is the battle of Nigeria, point one. And point two, I want to talk to the Colonel Tony.
Okay.
Sambisa Forest. From Sambisa, you can drive in Sambisa for 10 to 8 hours.
Sure.
If today, Burata is telling us that they have captured Sambisa Forest, they are just lying. They should tell, for them to capture Sambisa Forest, they need to put on a full soldier, give and take 2,000 full soldiers in Sambisa Forest. They should not deceive Nigerians with their stories, giving lies. Today they did this, tomorrow they did that. You understand? Sambisa Forest, Nigeria Army cannot capture Sambisa Forest.
All right, wonderful, Jacob. You've made because he's on 2 points now. At the first one, which one? Because
I want to take the issue of what is happening in Southern Kaduna. I want to join issues with the religious, aspect, and my worry is lives are being lost.
And it doesn't matter.
People are being killed every day. I don't want to know if it's a Christian or a Muslim. All I'm worried about is every day there's palpable fear in the land. People are worried that people are being killed. The government is for everybody.
Okay.
The government is there to secure life and property.
Correct. I'll come back to you on that same question, but can I quickly take Yakub?
Sure.
Because we need to look at the military dimension to that southern Kaduna. Also, Yakub, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Dapo.
Good morning,
and good morning to the gentlemen and women in the studio.
Okay.
Dapo, I'm very, very happy that finally I got in this morning.
Okay.
You see, I totally disagree with the second to the last caller and this last caller.
Okay.
Why am I saying that, Dapo? Do you know that when people are beginning to tell Nigerian citizens that this is Islamic war, it is totally false and fallacy. Dapo, I can tell you, if you can be able to count how many people have been Boko Haram have been killing, you will find out that there are more Muslim killed than Christianity.
Yes.
That is point number one. Point number two, somebody was telling us that the flag of Boko Haram and AK-47 both left and the right. Islamic is proof of religion. And then there is a verse in the Quran said, La ikrah that you can never force anybody to become your religion. And then you can never also fight for God Almighty Allah. Nigerian citizens should know this. Boko Haram, they have an own personal ideology that is not relevant to Islamic preaching. That is number one. Number two, nobody should ever tell us that Nigerian military are lying. If the person tell us that they are lying, therefore, before now, nobody can never say that Boko Haram will never come to Lagos. And then they did that time. But now we can be able to sleep and close our eyes. I can tell you, Nigerian military, I give kudos to them. And then the only thing is this. Those people that they die in the course of fighting for Nigeria, they should do something to their family.
Okay, wonderful. Wonderful, Yakub. I've given ample time to make your point. We have some few minutes to go.
Sure.
So, as you round up.
No, first of all, I agree with this caller. Those who are soldiers who are fighting, one should not use statements which a lot of them have reached. I have relations who have been killed in the Northeast, and many more are still there. So we should really praise those who are doing the fight there. Two, the other point being made, people at times turn these things to increase the divide, to use religion. Religion is an excuse. Some of the headsmen, the deputy governor of Kaduna State said, some of the so-called Fulanis are not even Muslims. They are more traditionalists.
Okay.
You know, and this is why they are feared, because they use a sort of charms and everything. But having said that, the president is the commander-in-chief. He needs to rise up to his responsibility and deal with Southern Kaduna issue. Because we cannot have a president who does not make comments when his people are being killed. And the killings in Southern Kaduna is too much.
It's too much.
Buhari has to rise up to responsibility and should not hide under any aids. He should speak directly about Southern Kaduna.
Can you drop a line? Because
you can hear the passion, you know, from the last caller. The fact that we should not be dwelling on religion for now. All what we need is how to secure the life, properties of Nigerians
in general.
We don't want to know where you're from. We don't want to know which religion you practice. We're one, and that is what my Bible teaches. And we pray we remain one.
Thank you so much, Stella Sawyer, journalist, and also Colonel Tony Yam, a retired. Thank you so much, a security expert. And that's our program for today. I thank you very much for those that have called and those that couldn't try again tomorrow. My name is Dakpo Aruwa Joye. Bye. God bless Nigeria. Bye for now.
Thank you.